Well, so final coming up between Superduck and Jim Hansen. So the last two online world champions.
I think it's going to be an even matchup because the House Fort Knights will still do some work against the Trident list.
Yeah, but I do think the aggro of Jim can hurt our Superduck as well.
Oh yeah, the Force March is going to do some damage too.
I think if he has some luck to get enough knights in first round, for example, I think that's could be a really good position for Jim. Because to me, it's like he has the heads and spikes, and if you do double claim on intrigue first round with the 7 character, like the Davos, that hurts the hand, and then I think, let's say he has few knights, he doesn't draw 3 every round. I think that's good for Jim. I mean, I think maybe I have a bias because I played against him, but I feel like Jim has a decent matchup.
Yeah. It's also a known deck for most people. So yeah, the tricks that can come out are surprising sometimes.
Yeah, I played against Poli, so I kind of expected what's gonna happen, but just didn't have any counterplay, unfortunately. But
yeah, so 10-minute break. They're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, this still needs to be updated. But yeah, interesting. In the cut we had all 8 factions. The one of the 2 Greyjoys made it, and only Lannister made it. Stark was really good in Swiss, had the top 2 decks there.
Yeah.
Martell also had one deck here, Banner Wolf, and another Aloof.
Aloof, yeah.
Doing okay, and Night's Watch made it to the top 4. Some Baratheon, well actually a lot of Baratheon, 3 Baratheons in the cut, some Targaryen as well, but really the dominant one has been Tyrell here. With
yeah, so much assault.
Assault decks and the Knight deck and the Crossing deck, and Tyrell Assault actually was the single most represented deck.
It's like 9%, I think.
Yeah, 5 out of 54.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not nothing like we had. Was it? So last year was really nice, but the 2 years before, one was something crazy like 30% Martell Knights of the Hollow Hill, and the first one we had, the first online worlds, was Greyjoy Filthy, much higher numbers than this 5 out of. Okay, there were more players, but still much higher numbers.
To be fair, that Greyjoy Filthy meta was like I was out of the game by then, but I played it and it was pretty insane. I played Greyjoy Filthy and I didn't even know it was good.
Yeah, so. I had a good tournament in that one because I had a decent matchup. I think I beat 3 or 4 Greyjoys on my way to the top 8, but then I lost one because Pike had just come out and it was free to play.
Oh, it was everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't get any, Pike removes Melisandre or whatever, but I got the little removes traitors and removes milk off Alanis and stuff like that, and it really hurt all the little things in my deck. And then the opponent, don't remember who it was a Chinese player. He played smaller curve, or I assume it was a similar deck than all the Greyjoy Filthies, but for some reason on the board he had all the Chuds and I couldn't do Harris very well. And I just lost on that one. But the final was Greyjoy Filthy and there was Baratheon, Valyrian Steel. So yeah. It was a good meta for Baratheon going against the Greyjoys. That was Alex against Bing as well. And then we had Jim Hansen played Mad, and last year we had Superduck against Right Way Down. So all the usual suspects this year are back and playing really strongly.
A lot of Martell entries, but not very successful.
Yeah, but 2 made the cut. It's not too bad.
Shit or Martell players are shit.
Thanks.
Like, I didn't want to say it, but I do think what happens though with Martel is that they do have a lot of loyalists, and like if I'm looking at the screen, like Banner Dragon is not a top Martel deck, so right from the get go you have these situations where Martel is brought down by those decks. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think. No, go ahead.
Bookerman's deck, I think, was very strong. He had some luck there that he didn't have Clitus early on. So I had initiative and I could control him enough that I didn't lose. And then I just about closed on the last turn. It was
I
crazy.
hear an echo.
Sorry.
Do you have the stream open at the same time, Hannes?
I don't hear any echo, for what it's worth.
Yeah,
Seems
same.
fine to me.
Might be just me, sorry.
But
Rage.
yeah, Martel Aloof is a really good deck. It has to avoid some bad matchups, but it's a really good deck. Steven finished 3-3, but had a good start and then had to play the star-crossing Chinese player who finished third after Swiss. Then had to play Reinhard. Then played Templar with the Tyrell uniting it around. So that's what kicked him out. But I do think the deck is still very strong. Like, if you look at Steven's path to finishing 3-3, he played some really good opponents. Had to beat Chrissy, Zelkor at the beginning. To be fair, the tournament being so low in numbers means that you have a lot of really good players.
I think it's ridiculous quality. I mean, almost
Yes.
every player here. Look at, if you scroll down to the bottom, okay, maybe some players who
At the
were not
bottom, it's a
considered
bit-
favorites, but if you get into the 40s, there's Lannister, Imrik is there,
Yeah.
Hero is there. I mean, Jink, none of this even made it. They could win tournaments.
Hero.
Lin.
Oh, then you have number 34. That guy's pretty bad.
Yes.
Beat me.
I mean,
Then straight into Argento and Superduck. Well, that's rough.
yeah. And
And
Chrissy.
then yeah. Well, I just didn't draw the giant last of Giants against Chris, and I just ran out of steam. And the Superduck one was my mistake. I discarded a Nightmares from his hand, but still feared another one, so I didn't put Varys into play, and then I could never. He got Ghost of High Heart to discard my Giants, and I never saw another one. So I should have just committed. Hey?
Why didn't you
Against
have
Superduck?
Against Superduck.
Yeah.
I feared the second Nightmares in hand, and then it cost me the game. So.
But yeah, I wonder what Lin was playing. The Tyrell Lion from Lin, was it a shadow deck? Like basically like the Tyrell Assault, but a bit more heavy onto the Lani cards? Any of you saw it?
No.
No.
I didn't, but I think I can assume it's similar to what is played in the World Cup.
Oh yeah, by you guys?
No, does not China play Tyrell Wolf? Tyrell, sorry, Tyrell.
No, we play Tyrell Wolf.
Tyrell Lion, sorry. I think they played in the World Cup as well. If I'm not
So
mistaken.
China Storm plays Tyrell Lion. That's a Knight deck without Turney. And
yeah, no, I don't like this.
Yeah, China Ice also plays.
China Ice plays.
So I think I would assume it's a similar deck. It's more Knight.
No, I think you want to go Tyrell Lion, but similar to what Henry did with the Tyrell Assault with the Sparrows, but you have more chances of triggering things with Clever Feint.
Yeah, that's what we play, I guess.
Yeah. I was trying to, when I decided not to play Tard Cohort, I hesitated between two decks. Well, three. There was the Tyrell Assault, Targ Sea of Blood, and I wanted to build a Tyrell Lion as well. And when I was searching, the one deck that popped out that had what the cards I wanted to play was your deck.
Yeah, Yeah, one thing that I think in the assault, what is the most difficult to deal with is the Varys in shadows.
Yeah, but you
Which
can
I guess
play
going
Last of the
to.
Giants.
Oh
They
yeah,
play
that's true.
Henry plays Last of the Giants now to bring Varys out for 2 gold instead of 6.
Yeah, I remember looking at this deck, the China Ice Tyrell line, when we did the rankings, and I dropped some points because it plays 2 Last of the Giants and it has 3 targets. Because one of the Varises you're not going to play with Last
Yeah.
of the Giants.
Mhm.
So I figured it would be stuck in hand with nothing to play it on. I wonder
It's good
how
when it hits,
it's
but
doing. I don't haven't
But you
followed
might be
that
stuck
group.
with it, so that's I think.
Are they winning with Tyrell? China
let me
Ice?
go see.
China
China
Ice.
Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Lin is the one playing it.
He's 1-3 so far.
Yeah.
Or 3-1, you mean?
3-1, yeah, sorry.
3 wins?
So I meant 1 loss. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So yeah, that might be the same deck, but it didn't happen for him on the day.
Some very rough
Yeah,
matchups this World Championships though.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
Some very bad matchups for some people this championship though.
Yeah, it's always like that.
That's the World Cup. That's the World Cup for you.
Thing is, it's difficult to counter multiple things at the same time, and you have to guess. I was guessing Night's Watch Kraken, but really the main one to counter seems was Tyrell Assault. Never played either of them though, so then on the day you can just get whatever. And it's
Yeah, I mean, I was the most scared of Banner Kraken. And I wasn't that scared of Tyrell Assault. Because I have generally better matchups against it. But then I played Banner Kraken against Alex and I won, and I played against Assault and I lost against Rupert.
yeah.
The round you lost against Rupert, Henry also played against Baratheon.
And also
Yeah,
won.
but I
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, the Henry won against the Bear cohort. I do think cohort is favored there, if you're able to rush fast enough.
But he just had too many Varises.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I figured there is only a 1 round window. You have to do it in the opening, have a Varys immediately, because then you get back-to-back
Bodyguard.
supporting and barring and maybe King in the North. So it's 3 rounds where
Yeah, but
Varys
he
isn't
also
happening.
had Noctron, then one round he called Milk in challenges and just smash it to Varys, and then also I had to play Air at some point because I was scared of reset.
Ah,
I
yeah,
didn't
Nope
have enough
Throne. Okay,
Varys
that
to
doesn't exist in the World Cup. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that matchup
what?
last week in the World Cup and tested quite a lot, and it seems favorable, but it's not guaranteed by any means.
Yeah, it's not, but yeah, you also have very bad matchups for Kraken, and it actually I was very lucky on that one.
Not as
So
scary as
Game
it
it
was
up.
though. It's been nerfed a little bit. You can't go mutiny into March. That killed off Baratheon usually, but if only one is happening, you have half a chance.
yeah,
But you can
I
do
tested the
mutiny
matchup.
into Ravages now though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
but
the same though.
that's not as strong.
No.
Because I tested this matchup and actually Stannis is the MVP because no events work on him. Then on Ravages you just have to have allocation to discard instead. So that was kind of lucky for me.
Okay, so here's the World Final. Superduck against Jim Hansen.
Are you
Tyrell
taking
Knights
bets?
against Martel Trident. Not Martel
Just-
Trident, Bara Trident, sorry.
We'll do setup and then
Okay.
we'll take bets.
I will bet on Superduck.
Oof.
I will bet on Jim.
I'm betting on Jim. I cannot go against my buddy Jim.
I think
It would be fitting for Barrett to finally win a major event.
I don't know honestly, but let's say Superduck because it's difficult to accept that the deck with Andrew Esterman might win Worlds. Although to be fair, I was saying that it's impossible to find a deck with lore and the 7 mixed in, because the previous 7 deck that was played out of Fate Militant, which was really strong by the way, but has been kind of killed off due to the crown being restricted, was basically all 7. But this is a nice little mix, and okay, of course, if you're going to have that mix, then he is a good card for sure.
And it's always, it is true that it works good with the 7 cost Robert. You have to say that it's
6
like,
cost.
Rush potential then.
Yeah, it's 6 cost though. Both kept their hand.
And there we are.
There's
And
Anite.
with a lore guy, but no one to save yet.
Well, but most importantly, no other knight, so still gets 2 cards.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to share, like on the meta, one thing I really like and what I don't understand in some discussions is it's really hard to predict who will win, and maybe there's some tendencies, but overall you can't build against one dominant deck, and it's something that I personally really like and appreciate. And sometimes therefore I don't understand what people say, oh, it's always the same decks. And interestingly, also the counter argument, I think sometimes it came, I heard it from Hanno Linzer, who I think is really, really good at building counter decks to meta decks. And yeah, he doesn't have that chance anymore to say, okay, I'll build something different and then I'll fuck over the strongest deck in the tournament. But this unpredictability to a certain degree, to me, is actually something attractive.
Yeah, I agree also. I really like it. You have more options for what you want to play, I think.
Yeah, but still you have to make certain decisions. There are some matches that you cannot accept an auto loss against something that's going to be popular, for instance. So a little bit of choosing the right thing and predicting the right thing. But yeah, I mean, the one thing though, always the same players, right? Always the same players winning these events. So certainly they have something. They're doing something right.
Yeah, I have to say there's some players skill involved for sure, because otherwise we wouldn't have Superduck and Jim here all the time.
I agree with what you said. I do appreciate doing what Hano did, which is try to counter the meta. But knowing that you can't, you have to play to the strength of whatever you're trying to build. And
yeah. I mean, also if you look at what is now in the final, what was what won last year was second. Also, Jim's deck, all of them, they had a clear game plan and they followed their strength, right? Each time, and then you need an excellent player.
Oh, like you need some luck on the way for sure. You can't always just be good and make it to the finals, but like you said, the same players always make it deep, and there's a reason for that. And there is building a good deck, there is piloting a good deck, and there is a bit of luck throughout the day.
Yeah, and
I
at the end of the day, I don't think if we predicted the world final, people would say Tyrell Knights against Trident.
no, exactly. Although I'm not surprised
Yeah.
by our Trident. I've been on the receiving end of that playtesting a lot. It's really strong.
Yeah, and perform well. Also, Paulie played it in the German
King at the Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did beat Leonard in the finals. So
Yeah, I was actually surprised. Against me, he had bad start, and he didn't have much of a game, and I won easily, and then he went on to win everything else. It was kind of like, oh, this actually works.
it's really strong. I feel like Jim's journey to the finals is the same as Sir Carter at Stalik, where he took back-to-back losses and then just won everything else after.
Well, it's definitely looking good for Jim now because Superduck didn't do any aggro in the opening and has been forced to pass challenges now. And whatever Trident's going to do, I think it probably can do. I mean, on the intrigue for sure.
Oh, he's gonna go military. Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
he
he's
really
gonna go
wants the
military.
military one, but that's now not exactly guaranteed. I wouldn't put it past Superduck to have a strength increase for 0 cost. I mean, Knight of Flowers, if you play 0 cost event, could do it, but probably doesn't have it, so whatever is happening is going to happen.
The only
plays
thing he
down
could
his
have is
nose
to the
for-
Rose Banner and then he loses strength, so.
Yeah, that's a 2 claim. Probably goes in 2 heads on spikes.
Yeah, that's the pattern, I guess.
It's the pattern I keep receiving.
Yeah, I see that many times now.
Boom.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
a high
hits.
tower knight. That's a
really
really good.
Good hit, yeah.
Plus, this should now work. Now, what do you do with Ghost of High Heart? I would think maybe at this point, okay, he doesn't want to lose too quickly. Fair enough.
I think that's a smart call.
Yeah, it can rush you very fast otherwise.
Mhm.
So what is Bara Trident weak against?
I think it hates aggro a lot. I was
Yeah.
able to. So when I played Jim, he had a really rough start of like location, infiltrator, and the Vanguard leader. And he was still able to 2-claim each round 1 with Mel trigger in the challenge phase, play phase decree to make sure I'm not able to play
win.
anything, and he also assaulted my Plaza of Pride. Therefore, I couldn't do anything. So he 2-claimed me round 1, but then I was able to play first snow to make sure that his chuds were gonna leave. I was able to kill Mel, and that was the game. I don't think Superduck can play that though.
Yeah, I kind of had the same against Poli, where I get Kranagman and Ice through and stuff like that. So I think aggro is for sure one thing.
The thing is, once he starts getting his Red Priest, his Scene in Flames, like he starts attacking the hand, he's gonna start using the Phase Decree as well to block whatever he wants to block.
Fate's Decree is honestly one of the hardest cards in this matchup to do with for me. That was every time the most
because it's free and it's free, so even if he has no gold, you always have to account for it.
Yeah, and you can call something that you already see on the board, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever hurts you most.
Yeah.
Can he stand attrition like Mattel Hollow Hill?
No.
I mean, he just beat Alex pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I
that
actually
one was answered.
I thought that he would have a worse matchup against Alex, but Alex I don't think had that much choke in the beginning, so I think if you can establish a board and rush a little bit, then there's too much pressure for Kraken because it also has not good.
It has a lot of cheap characters as well, so it doesn't matter as much. It is weak to like. I think if Alex would have had White Tree and then Clytus to really choke, because it doesn't have that much. It doesn't have that much econ with the plots.
Okay, so nobody sounded in this time. That's nice.
Yeah, he has Scene in Flames most likely.
And Robert's Rebellion, this is the one deck where this really shines, I think, because you can flip out of it. Otherwise, the downside can happen and does happen more. I think way more than people are willing to admit.
Yeah.
I've seen it basically lose games where it could have been a different plot. But this is really nice here, and you can guarantee going second, actually, not going first, going second, so that you know exactly if you lost the power, how important it is to flip out of it.
Yep.
Okay, Hightower Spy is going to do what
So we
exactly?
have 1 gold left.
Ooh,
Buff the Knight of Flowers, probably. Oh, itself, okay.
not the most amazing cost, but okay, fair enough.
And
Ah.
here's the Melisandre nail.
Yeah.
On what?
If he has 2 characters and not some, that's what he's gonna leave characters in hand to hit head on spikes every time.
Mm-hmm. Get rid of the biggest military icon. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And also, if you saw another High Tower Knight, you want to nail this one, you can bring him in.
Yep. Ooh.
Well, still going to do challenges to maybe get Brand the Builder.
Yep.
Now decisions, do you try to stop that or no? Okay, just going to do whatever you want to do back.
Makes sense. Joe's looking for the Old Town or the Wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, Brand the Builder triggers now make it at least harder to get heads on spikes if you
Yep.
left all the characters.
Unless
Yeah,
he
but
does intrigue,
I think
he can do intrigue first.
I think he's happy
Yeah,
to let him get power though on the faction card, because he'll do the 2 claim power first. Just take it. He has all the, I mean, the Vanguard leaders are really nice here. Can do it on any challenge, doesn't need to worry that there's an army going
Can you
in
win
the
the
right
power
one.
though?
Well, okay, if he passes, maybe you don't, but let's see.
Yeah.
What's funny is that the Barra Trident has no cards I would ever look at restricting, except maybe Melisandre. But out of all the Barra decks, that's the one where it's just a really good deck that was well put together.
I mean, people talk that Robert's Rebellion should be restricted.
Oof, no.
What should be restricted?
Robert's Rebellion,
people
apparently.
say
Oh,
that
no.
Robert's Rebellion is really strong, right?
It is. It's strong. It's strong. It's the
I
same
think
kind of
especially-
strength that Fury of the Khalasar has, where it's a 2 claim. It has more gold, has more initiative, more reserve, but has a downside.
Yeah, I think the downside is strong, but the thing is, here you can always flip out. So that's,
Yep,
I think in
but
this deck it excels.
Well, Superduck attacks. He's left himself exposed now.
I think he wants to get cards in hand, which makes sense.
Yeah. Non-characters.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna do intrigue now, Jim, first to get 2 cards out.
Yeah, but it's still kind of random, right? What you get out.
Yeah.
You can lower your chances or you can raise them.
Yeah, but you still bring your opponent to 1 card in hand.
And then he doesn't have to flip
But-
heads on spikes, he could change
Yeah,
to
that's what I
something
was gonna
else.
say. If you just hit the characters, you just leave spikes for another round, maybe.
Yeah, he'll do 2 claim power, 2 claim intrigue, 2 claim military, and then flip into something else maybe.
I still think he flips into head on spikes.
Mhm.
Depending on what's discarded.
If it's 2 locations, then definitely.
Let's see.
Hmm.
1 and 1.
Okay. Okay, so there's a red wine straight and an unknown.
Well, Jim knows, presumably.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he
unknown to
knows.
us. It's unknown to us.
But you still do it, right? Because unless he doesn't care about the cards.
Well, he's gonna draw 3 next round
Yeah.
anyway.
Drawing 3.
Yeah, but if you remove if it's a character, you get 2 power. If you remove econ, you remove econ, right?
What is reset for Superduck? Is it the Harris?
It's Doharis.
And he hits. Yeah,
Mhm,
but-
Arbor Dup.
Okay.
So actually, there were 2 non-characters,
Yeah.
right? So why did
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Did he have no other plot to flip into?
I'm pretty sure that's just the standard for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
He plays reinforcement, but he's probably going to wait post reset for that.
To bring Davos in.
Yeah, and if he goes first, if he's going first, he flips into the parley and calls whatever hurts him the most, I think.
He goes into parlay. He can go into forced
Forced march.
march.
Maybe that was Superduck's thinking, like, okay, I don't have a high chance that I lose something on heads on spikes, so let me force it now.
Yeah.
Because he has to after he lost the power challenge.
Does he nil the 3 chuds here? I suspect he does. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the Arbor Dupe is also a good card to hit because now he's
He's got PD. Yeah.
PD, so he can't protect it.
I think he has bigger problems though. He can't afford
Oh
to
yeah, for sure.
play political disaster against the 2 locations. At some point, he has to get a board and see if he can claw it back, aggro a little bit, then go into a tourney. But it's not looking good.
Yeah, Superduck played PD early against me when I only had 2 locations, probably just to
same.
get it out the way.
He has way more gold here though, so if he drew a few characters, spam out the characters a little bit.
No, they currently have the same amount of gold.
Yeah, but King in the North,
the
you can't
location.
use the locations.
True. You're right. Reading is hard, Miha.
And, yeah. Who expects King in the North in 2025 anyway?
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
His,
one of the better
really
plots, I
good.
think, in the game.
Yeah.
Plus, he doesn't care for it as much if he's
Yeah.
playing. If he's playing Hellstorm Knight with a To the Rose banner, doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, it's forced. Yeah, I do prefer this version of King in the North than the original version because the original version was obnoxious.
It
It was
broken.
obnoxious. It's like, oh, you're playing against Night's Watch Martell. Okay, they just don't have a game.
Yeah.
But for me, it's also there is something that is like better in a way with this version because it does stop everything. Even if the opponent has 1 king, like you can
Yeah.
play around that, and it really stops everything.
Yeah.
You can't.
But it's at least
But
fair.
I think that really, like we were discussing with Mika, which redesigns were really successful, and I think this is one of the better ones. It's really good.
There's actually
Yeah.
some very good redesigns.
Very many.
Yeah, many are really good.
Yeah, some cards are back on the restricted list. I counted that as a kind of a failed redesign.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would agree.
some have not. Only a few are no longer played. I mean, Iron Mines is just gone, for instance.
It was never played that much anymore, anyways.
Yeah. Iron Mines was stupid though. Like having 6 saves in a deck and you can play Magulas whenever you want. It's kind of. I mean,
But
you could counterplay it with King in the North, but if they had Balon back then, yeah, whatever. But
Hmm.
But Iron Mines were only good early, and then once they started to have more like warships, they
Mhm.
couldn't afford it anymore in their deck space.
yeah, yeah. As soon as Victarium came out, realistically, it was
Mhm.
it was like shelved.
I actually like Mission and Essos redesign. I have no idea what the original one actually did, but the new
It
one.
removed cards from the game and then left you with like 5 cards or something in deck, and you could combo with it.
It did some weird
okay.
loop shit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It-
Basically,
it-
but-
replaced your deck with your discard pile or something, and your discard pile was a known set of cards that you could, if you had what you needed there, you could just loop them or something. It was never played outside of the combo, which you have to assume was the intention anyway, because why would you design it that way if you didn't want it to combo? So it's yeah, no one's missing that, I think.
No, I don't miss sitting for 20 minutes watching my
Especially
opponent play with his
since
cards.
yeah, this one is actually okay. It's not really a redesign. It's just a new card, but it's a really good card to see in decks, and it does interesting things in armies and in sand snakes.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes Martel Long Voyage viable.
I actually, my opponent in the last game of Swiss played it, and I was really surprised because it was, Lords and Ladies deck, and he
Mhm.
just played it on Viper and got the run in, and I totally did not expect that to happen. I was really completely okay. Didn't even know that can exist in this type of deck, so it's always cool to see these surprising things still.
What's he gonna name Power? Yeah.
Okay, so power is not going to be done back, which means he can win dominance or take military. Well, both. And then I guess we're going to see the Doharis. Alistair will trigger, and then you hope you draw some House Lord and Knights to hit at whatever is left or something. But full hand for Jim Hansen here. So
Does Jim play Return to the Fields in Trident?
can you? I don't
Can
think
you?
you can.
It's an edict, so you can.
Oh yeah, but it's not one you want to play usually because it's not. Well, I guess it could be playable in the challenges phase. In
Yeah,
some
you'd
situations.
you'd normally use it just to dodge a reset mainly.
Chooses
Oh.
Melisandre for
Ooh.
climb. Oh, did he mean to trigger Andrew and forgot there's
Yeah.
king in the north?
Yeah.
Well,
Retro.
Well, okay, so even if Jim wins, we had this little moment of Andrew failing, so that was beautiful. That was truly beautiful.
You-
Ooh. That is
that
rough.
hurts a lot, but
Yeah.
the game's pretty deep, anyways.
Yeah, I guess if the
I don't think
Paris is
it hurts
played,
enough, but
you would have kept Melisandre, but now I guess you're going to keep Bonifer instead. That's the big one, along with the
Yeah.
Judds.
Yeah.
But it's good to see they're also just human.
And Alistair will trigger as well, so you still get some form of kneel off.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you could keep the 3 Chads and Bonifer and Nil 1 and just push power. I don't know.
Acolyte, Shadow, Acolyte, okay.
But honestly, it does suck for Jim. Having Melisandre for a double kneel here would have been much better.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, he tried to be fancy with Sir Andrew.
Yeah.
And it put him way over reserve because Vanguard leader went back to hand.
You probably keep Andrew with
The
3
Chuds.
Chuds, right?
If he's got another
I
Bonifer in
would
hand,
keep
sure.
Bonifer rather than Andrew.
Mhm.
Just keep the power icons. I don't know.
But even if he doesn't, he still has 2 power from Poor Fellows. You still have the Infiltrator that can give you a 1 power at the end of the
And he can also flip reinforcements to get Davos.
Yep.
But he has no king, right? So. But you could see Robert come out this turn, maybe.
Yep. And then actually use the Andrew trigger to give him power.
Well, if he kept Bonifer is a knight, right? That might have been the thing to do, because he was 2-2 with knights if he kept Bonifer, Andrew, and let's say poor fellows. The Superduck would draw 2 from a hand of 1, and it was quite difficult to recover. Now he drew 3.
Let's see what he drew, though. He could
Is
have drawn into 2 to the rose banners or something, you know? Could have been something bad.
Yeah, but in Tyrell Knights, I assume it's 35-ish characters, maybe a few more.
Yeah.
Has to be more, because he plays so few locations with PD. Some events, though.
Yeah. I'd say at least 6. He'd probably praise 3 rose banners, 3 nightmares.
It's not a bad board. If Melisandre were here, she would kneel one.
Rose banner, okay.
Mhm.
Makes sense. It'll come back in standing, right?
Yes.
Red priest,
Yeah.
okay.
Not surprised.
Okay. Do
Still
we have a
has
second one for Bryce?
A full King's Road, full 2 King's Roads. Can play out a Robert. Oh, Bryce and Ghost of High Heart, that's amazing.
Oh, Davos.
But Superduck will get gold back after... no, actually he won't. Forced reaction comes after Hightower, right? Yeah.
It's going to go on Davos.
Does it go on Angui, maybe? Although you do have one in the power challenge if you want it. I don't know the plots and what he needs exactly. I remember from Martel Trident that you need it on the power icon if you want siege prep.
Yeah, you're probably right here.
Well, boards are kind of equal now, and there's no brilliant claim soak. You're not gonna claim Red Priest, I don't think. Or what did it take? Oh, it took Old Town, so maybe you could claim it, I guess. But the thing is that Jim's also on 11, so you can't be kneeling out characters here and then not opposing everything. Maybe you kneel Mark. So what does Davos do exactly? So works on attack and on defense, and it will discard. He will discard 1 power if he wins, if needed, unless you would prefer Superduck to have power. Okay. So, doesn't intend to win against Mark, I guess. Then I think Red Priest gets claimed here.
Yeah, he played the Fate's Decree, makes sense.
Yeah, he will keep, I think, an Infiltrator to try to get to 15 in Dominance, which I think is a real possibility this round. Could use Andrew. So he redeems himself a little bit. And that's all Superduck does. What's the power challenge situation? Well, he does have that at least, if nothing else comes in. What's in the discard pile? Some acolytes.
Yeah, nothing really good for reinforcements unless he's got something in hand that's worth it.
Bonifer could be good. In the French chat, they're saying that he wants to win with the Relore Infiltrator, and I kind of agree.
So far I can get unopposed intrigue.
He's losing dominance at the moment. Also, so he's a little bit away still.
He needs to defend with one of the power icons, so he's gonna win the power anyways. And then wins Intrigue Unopposed and Relore Infiltrator. That's GG.
Interesting that
He can't get the intrigue unopposed with Davos now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
interesting that Superduck gave him the 2 power on the poor fellow.
It's
I mean, it looks like
That was
the
early game.
perfect target, right, for House Lord and Knight, but it's still here.
I mean, that's the correct play though, right? If you're playing in Superduck's shoes, you're gonna do the same thing every time. You're not gonna give him cards. Well, he's gonna give him cards this time around, but
So, any plans with Trident here? Intrigue is free. Okay, power. Or maybe we go another round. Okay, what can you get on the Intrigue? Edict, so that's the most flexible one that can get a lot of different plots.
yes, but that's the one he has least, I think.
Still that Arbor's there. That's a rough draw. Mad King's Command.
Yeah, he just wants to get it out of the way so he can recycle his plots. So yeah, siege prep and reinforcement left.
Okay, I don't think he'll trigger the Infiltrator now. No need. Just do it when it wins. Sometimes I do it if there's a Robert in play and I know it's staying knelt. Or if first now is to follow.
Question is, what does Superduck play here?
So he has PD and he has Tourney, and then what else would there be?
Second tourney?
Well, he didn't play that against Argento when there
Sure.
was... although maybe he was expecting Morgulis on that occasion. And he definitely doesn't have Compelled either. Okay, plays the Tourney. Well,
There you go. Gets all his plots back.
draw 3 and play out some stuff and defend like crazy.
If there's a Robert, it's
Course.
GG.
House Florid Knight would really be what he wants now, right?
If one of those cards is Faith's Decree and the other one's Robert, I think it's game.
Mhm.
Ah, there we go.
Ooh.
That
Just
also
counterplay.
helps.
Hedge Knight is the worst there is, it seems.
Bonifer's back.
And a power icon. Yeah. Well, the game was interesting for... there is this as well. It's just going to be played in
This is
March,
House Florid Knight.
but it can't stop House Lord Knight, can it? Yeah.
No, I
Uh-oh.
don't think
No.
so. It's forced.
Okay, yeah.
But he did now reach the same number of knights.
Mhm.
If there was a Hightower Knight in hand, he would have removed that with the red priest.
Yeah.
It was interesting for a minute when Melisandre died just before Dohaeris, and then it looked like the boards were kind of equal after that for a brief moment. But yeah, Superduck needed more really. But his hand got attacked nicely and had some spikes. So, seen in flames. I mean, the old staples.
It's a really well built deck.
Oh, come on. That is highly improbable draw, I think. Not to get a character or one Hedge Knight. Not even someone that would trigger Hightower.
Tree gonna pose.
Last card is another Hightower.
That's really rough for him.
Yeah, it's rough. Because he got what? 1, 2, 3.
I wonder if the top card of Superduck's deck is a House Florid Knight, and the Faith's Decree may have saved the, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sealed the game.
Well, he can trigger Old Town here, right?
He
Can
now,
here. Yeah.
but obviously it's, what is it?
He can call character.
Ooh,
Okay.
it's Garland.
Yeah,
That would have helped.
yeah, plenty of gold as well. But now, I mean, he has to defend this, otherwise it's over. And then when he does, it's over in Dominance and the Infiltrator anyway, because both power icons have to go in this one.
Plus the military.
I would have called event, see if we can get Knight of Lovers to win alone. No.
Good job,
Okay.
Jim Hansen.
There we go. Congratulations to Jim Hansen, the 2023 and now also 2025 Online World Champion. Also, congratulations to Superduck. Still an amazing run. And thanks everybody for playing. Thanks here for commentating. And thanks everybody who made this tourney happen.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Although the games we watched, only two on this occasion, unfortunately, couldn't get the top 8 and top 16. But they looked pretty rough for one player, and on the other table it was apparently the same. So that's how it goes. But all in all, a really good tournament, and I think Jim didn't quite manage to play around his own Andrew Esterman, but won despite him anyway. So very nice. Yeah, Stare could be tough this year.
Yeah.
The Chinese players coming and more Americans than last year as well.
Yeah, I think the
Really good.
Americans are trying to go every 2 years, so it would be this year.
Hmm.
That's
It's
right.
really
It's
good to meet
expensive.
some of the Chinese players as well in person.
Yeah, I wonder who is making the trip. I mean, I would assume Superduck and Jing probably. Well,
Probably as many as is able.
Yeah, that would be fun.
so there we are. Wait for this to be updated. Really nice for a championship, and I would say numbers-wise, not the best. Low attendance. I hope it doesn't die out this tournament. I know people play in person again, and this came about during the pandemic, basically. But for me, it's one of the better tournaments. I mean, you can get everyone. There's no travel involved. Everyone can play it, and all the best players in the world, in theory, should meet. But it's not so popular, and I think if it drops more in the numbers, it will probably lose the card design maybe in the future, because it's prestige goes if the numbers are so low, I guess. But
Yeah, although I think we were discussing that actually with these low numbers, there's so much more high-level players that you end up facing. So
Yeah.
it's almost the stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say the level of the average player here. I mean, we talked about that before the
Yeah.
start, but just scroll down here. I mean, it's the top 8 is ridiculous. So if
Yeah,
you-
we probably did lose a few American players this weekend due to it being the holidays, right?
Yeah, I would say close to 10, but at least 5 for sure. So because Americans are really back into the game.
Mhm.
Which is nice to
Yeah, it's
see.
hard to find a day that works for everyone, right? And
Just
it's
wish-
like,
Yeah, but I
Wish
mean, it's announced half a year in advance, and you should clear your
Yeah.
schedule. Okay, if it
Yeah,
clashes
but-
with
yeah.
other card games like this one did, apparently, fair enough if you're interested in both. But
We can't say that Bara never won a big event anymore. Well, it's not the biggest, but pretty good in terms of player quality. So
yeah, it
Well,
won
Bara
I-
only
one Euros as well in the past. So I think this is the second kind of major title. Let's say won the first Starek second edition as well, but I think that was more of a side event on that occasion. I think it was still first edition was the main one in 2015.
Yeah, it was the last hurrah for first edition, I believe.
So nice. Now I wonder what gets restricted.
Bonifer probably.
Yeah, that's
No,
the thing. There's
I-
no single card, right? That everything
No.
revolves around in Baratheon. That was always the problem, even when the initial restrictions came, right? Because at the same time, basically, we got Traitor and Red Priest and Azor High Reborn. There was no single card. It was just okay. Let's pick 3 good cards that kind of affect all the decks, because Bara had amazing diversity and not really overperforming that much, but won the 8 regions and keeps doing well in team events and such, without any real obvious dominant deck. And even here, I'm struggling to think what goes in every deck, right? Because you have this, and then you have the other one that's been talked about, the Free Companies deck that was King of Swiss at Starek, and they don't share many cards, if any at all, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think you want to go restriction. You want to go pods if you think it's problematic.
But also, we don't need to just look at the winner, right? Like Tyrell Assault is right there,
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
5 of them. So
Yeah, I was saying Bounty could go. I mean, Bounty is virtually in every Tyrell deck, and
Yep.
we had 3 different ones in this tournament that I'm sure all played Bounty. So it was
That's the
restricted
best
for a
in
long
fun.
time, and then Tyrell was not doing so well, and it was loosened. But now they are doing well. So I think that's the card that is kind of shared among all of them.
Mhm.
And yeah, my usual complaints about Greyjoy Filthy on this occasion, only one in the field, so I guess that's might be left alone some more. And Lannister clearly is not problematic, so
I mean,
So
you can't really imagine when only one person plays it, right?
Yeah. I mean, but
but
that's
it says a
also
lot that only one person plays it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, even Bara Trident, okay, it won here, but you have to give those decks a chance that everyone starts copying them, and then they are in every tournament, and that's your sign that this is now the top deck that you need to look at, right?
So are you saying we can free a Lannister's honor?
Well,
No.
Lannister's
That card was a mistake in the
completely
beginning, so
it's completely gone away, so I wouldn't give them any new restrictions at the moment, but they should be coming back, I think, if other stuff is restricted. I guess there's stuff that preys on Lannister at the moment, I don't know.
Yeah. But that's the option. If you don't want to restrict anything, you can also free cards so that factions gain something back. That's one way of trying to rebalance a bit. Especially since when we're looking at the Trident deck, we all agree that there's nothing you really want to restrict there.
Yeah, nothing that I can think of.
Me, I would like to restrict Andrew so he never has to see him again.
No, he's fine. I played Andrew myself, you know. Won a tournament with him. Had one copy in Fate Militant. Just for the Bonnie for draw, nothing else. So he triggers the agenda, and he's an icon, I guess. He's not really a rare intrigue icon in the 7, but okay, he's an icon in decent strength. But yeah, I mean, that was not Bonifer used to his, or Andrew used to his full potential at all. But here it's probably still not, right? The full potential would be abusing the power gain with in the dominance deck, although this one had Robert as well, right? So
Yeah, just never came to be, but I didn't need him.
yeah, and what about Targaryen? Targaryen also with the 3 players in the cut, but so we had one burn deck, presumably, one Dothraki aggro, and Brotherhood. Reinhardt does not go away with his
I was so surprised to see that. Still thinks Brotherhood is the way to go.
Which card is shared there? I mean, the burn deck and the Dothraki aggro share one obvious one, the Consuming Flames. Yeah, Francis, you can tell me if you remember in our game when we had, I think it was Grand Melee versus Mad King's Command, and I had Salador San, Delena, and something else, and I passed challenges even though I had Red Keep there to just do a free power. I was so paranoid about Consuming Flames because you had 2 gold left over, and then you used it for overwhelming numbers. Did you have it?
Yeah, I had it all game, I'm pretty sure. I was trying to get one of your... I was trying to get Salador San, I think, because he had a dupe. But you never put him in a challenge.
Yeah, exactly because of that. And then I had to waste the whole Grand Melee turn where I could have done power. And then I conceded so much for that Danny trigger instead. So I guess there was no way to win. Whatever I did, I was getting screwed there.
I think Danny is exactly what when I built her, is exactly what she did against you what I wanted her to do, which is when you're getting controlled into the military challenge, at least you have another way to win the game, which is to gain some power, and yeah, it worked.
And what else have we failed to talk about? Stark. Stark had 2 decks at the top in Swiss, and Argento made a really good effort in the cut as well. So Greywind.
Yeah.
Daisy. It was a strong performance, but I don't know. I don't know about Stark.
Maybe you stick Greywind, Summer, and Daisy in a pod.
Yeah, I mean, that I don't think that Greywind and Summer should be podded, because then you have a card that's meant to work with one card podded with that card.
Yeah,
But then these other direwolf cards, it incentivizes you to run the other ones rather than just Summer
No,
to
you will
recur
never
your tight
run
deck.
other direwolf cards. It's like sacrificing that you lose Summer, then you have to also sacrifice deck space for a shit direwolf.
No, but if you restrict and if you pod Summer with Daisy, it makes sense, right? Like if you want to play direwolves, you can play direwolves. If you want to play Renown, you can play Renown. I think
that's more sense than just the podding Greywind and Summer, because that's something that I think should be together.
So then you make
choices. It works out the same anyway.
You will,
but that's what
you will play the plot and find Summer and Greywind and just resurrect Arya and Mira and whatever, and Daisy is out, right? And
Yeah,
if
but
you
this
want
is
to play
out,
Daisy,
so
you lose.
power level has reduced significantly, right?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
but that's I think you will lose Daisy because doing it the other way. So what did you say, Summer and Daisy in about? Yeah, that's rough. I mean, plot being able to
Yeah, I mean,
fetch
if
Summer
you
and Greywind is better than a single Daisy, I think.
if you consider that there's also restricted crown, that's another thing that you consider with Daisy. So
Mhm.
maybe you would then end up losing Daisy, but
But just so you know, that's how we try to work with the pods. When we were talking about the Lannister's honor being restricted, and pods, I was trying to convince the people that the card is an aggro card and you want it to be into aggro decks without the good stuff decks. So that's why we went with Cersei and Lannister's honor. That's why we went with Boots and small Casterly Rock as well, where you have to pick what direction you want to do. Do you want to go intrigue or do you want to get power off a small guy? So those are the decisions the pods are supposed to give you instead of taking all that's good together.
I think that that's a good, system. Although I think Boots could be like maybe even done differently because we didn't see him that much anymore.
Yeah, the reason we did Boots over Sir Pounce is that Sir Pounce is supposed to be with intrigue challenges, and it made sense for him to be able to be played with Casterly Rock. And then we didn't want to pod any of the cats together because they all fit together. So
Yeah, I think we returned basically to the state we had before Boots, which was
Yep.
pretty fair. I mean, Lenny Alliance and Lenny Brotherhood were a thing. Even
Yeah, but I think
Kraken could have been played, but
what is kind of sad is that it ends up being like Brotherhood deck. It ends up being without Boots because faster looks so much better value. So then you have a new card that's now not really played.
but it can be played like if you take you can still play Marcella and get that extra intrigue. You still have those ways around to do it. It just you have to make a decision on what you're going to take. But I understand that it sucks to not be able to play the cards.
well, you could still
Yeah.
play it. If
I
you
don't know
ban a
if that
lion,
would-
you can get all the cats,
Yep.
and you would play Boots,
Yep.
obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one thing, if you would play, I don't know if you'd consider that to be two cards that are meant to be in the deck together, but I think Small Castle Rock and the new Marcella, I don't know, it feels like a bit much that you have 3 intrigue challenges on the regular. But
Potentially
again,
4
it's
if it's
popular.
rains.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I would be happy to accept that, you know, because the previous
Yeah, but that's
Marcella
what-
is a really nice card. Okay, this one is totally broken, but you go back to a really nice
that's
card that
why-
still
that's
does a
why I
lot of
think it
work.
would be
And she takes
a
Boots, you
better
know, she takes Boots really
Yes.
nice, does the original Marcella and Florian and Jonquil potentially.
Yeah, so then you would get decks with the old Marcella and Boots, which fit together nicely, and you would have to give up on the new Marcella, and I think that's would be a good idea. Or maybe a new Marcella and Boots together instead of Castle Rock. But I don't know, maybe that's still too strong then. But I feel like Boots has been a bit not played after the quad, which kind of sad because it's nice card that's new. I don't know, I like the cats. A cute sub team that would be cool if it was played more
Yeah.
viable.
Okay, I think that covers everything except Nightwatch, I guess, which had one really strong performance here with the choke that everyone is expecting. It did do well, but it didn't bring the numbers really to this one.
Yeah, it's a strong deck though. Very strong deck that has once it's set up, it doesn't. One of the weakness for choke is that it usually runs out of gas. This deck doesn't run out of gas. It just if the moment it's installed, the choke is on. The choke is on, and unless you're playing an anti-choke deck, you're gonna get steamrolled.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the setup, you can just lose round 1 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do Palace and House Lauren Knight anymore. Luckily, that would be. I mean, that's why he played the 2 cards that boost strength, so that everything would be in range on the opponent's side and not on yours.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only thing it doesn't really hit is like, I don't know, a Stannis or something, you know, something that's like really big, but then you just get rid of everything else and kill Stannis, right?
Yeah, you could do. I mean, in my game against Superduck, I played. I had King's Landing on setup. I played, I think, Salador Sun to nil it and basically get my 5 gold back. And I played Corain with Wraith, and I had 2 Chuds. So he then, on the maiden turn, played Bounty, played House Florent Knight to discard the first Chud, then played the Olena's Wheelhouse, bounce House Florent Knight to discard the other Chud. He played another character in the meantime as well, and then did military to kill one of my guys. Not sure which one I chose. I think Corain at that point. And before the challenges ended, he played to the Rose Banner to House Laurent Knight, my Salador away as well. So after what was literally the most perfect start I could have scripted for myself, I was left with no board in round 1. Just crazy.
Pretty good. Yeah, I had trouble pushing military against him when I was playing at one point because the knights were getting pretty high on strength, and I didn't see Jogo until like the end of the game. Once I saw Jogo, it was over. But yeah,
Jogo is the MVP in that deck. I feel like.
Mm.
yeah. The new like the box Jogo is actually interesting, but you lose stealth and then the 4 cost
Yeah,
versus 5
stealth is
cost,
fun.
Yeah, the stealth
and
ones
then
just do more work, right?
yeah, because by after 2 kills they have the same strength. So
Yeah.
Yeah, after 2 kills, he can trigger agenda on his own.
Yeah, I managed to remove the House Florent Knight from Superduck's hands with his Viper's Eyes, but it didn't make a difference. He didn't even need to attrition my board. I attritioned my own board.
Yeah, you pretend like Hollow Hill has a board.
Yeah, I did have a board at some point, and then yeah, I lost because I forgot to keep stuff standing for Dom. I just overlooked it. Well, he had 6 gold anyway, so I was losing Dom regardless.
Okay, so I think that's all we have for this online world. So congratulations again to Jim Hansen, his 2nd win. He can design another card, so we have from him already Battle on the Green Fork, which I have used to good effect as well. I like the card, and I like when opponents play it against me because it can suck against some control and you make it fizzle altogether. So hopefully the next one is just as nice. And yes, of course, an invitation to everyone to keep following the World Cup. So there have been some streams. I have not uploaded anything to YouTube. Sorry about that. It's just too busy. I guess it will come next month at some point. All of them together. So that's still happening. We have 2 more rounds of Swiss. So next week and the week after, and then the cut starts. And that's it, I think, for the ongoing online events. So hopefully you join us for that, and hope you enjoyed it tonight. And thank you guys for joining me on commentary as well.
No problem.
thanks for having us.
Thanks.